World with so many movies to choose from, one hero will rise. Ladies and gentlemen,
the Movie Wire Podcast with Justin Henson.
Fragile. That must be Italian.
I'm Buddy the Elf.
We're gonna have the happiest Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and a Happy New Year.
Oh my God, I shot my eye out.
I give you the Griswold family Christmas.
I say bah, humbug.
Merry Christmas and welcome to this very special episode of the Movie Wire. I'm your host, Justin Henson, and welcome to the Movie Wire's Inappropriate Christmas Special, full of shirtless snowmen, hookers, and Lindsay Lohan that has the experience with both men and snow, and movie titles that seem to be copied and pasted from porn films. This week on the show, I have something planned a little different because this holiday felt a little different when it comes to Christmas movies. Now, each and every year, I look forward to streaming even the most generic holiday films because they are just fluffy, cliched fun to force the holiday feeling. But there was a couple movies that gave us some different feelings and forced some raised eyebrows. And after one of my many holiday bourbons, I decided to not just review some of the same old generic holiday movies, but review some Christmas movies that came straight off the naughty list. And just like any Christmas movie ends, I will end the show with something fluffy and fun. On this very episode, I have 3 movies to review, 2 Christmas movies to stream at home, and 1 to put on after the kids are asleep. Plus a holiday tradition that I want to share that we do here at the Henson household. With that said, let's get on with the Movie Wire's Inappropriate Christmas Special. This week on the show, now streaming on Netflix, it took a snowman to melt her heart. Okay, synopsis. In Hot Frosty, have yourself a merry little love triangle in Our Little Secret, also now streaming on Netflix. And finally, from sex worker to wifey, love is a hustle in Anora. We got a lot to cover this Christmas, so let's jump right in. Ready for my verdict? Let's get into it.
Frosty the snowman was a jolly happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal.
Widow Kathy magically brings a snowman to life. His innocence helps her heal and find love again. They bond before the holidays, but he is doomed to melt in Hot Frosty.
Hey, so nice to see you.
You get your heat fixed?
My life is a mess right now.
Good things come to you when you're out in the cold, Kathy.
Clearly, you've been doing your push-ups. You know what? You keep it.
You're stuck in there pretty bad. You want me to get behind you and push?
Huh?
It feels amazing.
Excuse me, can I help you? This is Jack.
I was a snowman.
That's not good. The coveralls and the boots, did you steal them?
Yes. Man went streaking in front of poor Ethel Jennings. Hi there.
I thought you could use some clothes, but you're gonna have to try them on. Oh, whoa, no, not right now.
Got it.
Maybe he's got something to hide.
We could just turn the temperature down. In my house, we like it hot.
What are you doing?
You really gonna interrupt my finest interrogation work like that?
I've never been on a date before. Please, I need your help with Kathy. It's been a minute for me, too.
What in the name of God?
You're gonna lean in a bit, okay? I want to make the most of the time that I have with you.
A man that sweet's just gotta be magic.
For a snowman. You're one heck of a romantic.
I know who I am.
That's so funny. That looks just like a girl I went to high school with.
Okay, now I did view Hot Frosty at the time of its release on Netflix, and after seeing the social media postings of it scoring higher than The Godfather, I decided to give it even more attention than it already had. The only two reasons I'm reviewing this is due to a request from an oh-so-loyal listener and a bottle of bourbon, and I'm almost ashamed to admit that this was the origin of the Movie Wire's Inappropriate Christmas special. Now, Hot Frosty is a movie that rose more questions than answers than, of course, it cared to answer. Like my number one, a man with merely a scarf around his neck, no shirt in the middle of winter. Honestly, is it so hot to women? Just the idea that it is so cold out that this man's penis is literally running through his body all the way to his lower back, or is that a magical power the movie never addresses? The magical power being that Hot Frosty stays hot down there even during the coldest of Christmases. Just watching the cold, the snow, and the shirtless Hot Frosty made me throw on a heating blanket and comfort my balls from the cold I saw on screen. Hot Frosty is an oxymoron created to avoid copyrights or just not to confuse children when they're trying to find the right Frosty the Snowman to watch on streaming, then forcing parents to explain why Frosty is shirtless, having a six-pack, and is shoving a car back and forth with an overly excited older woman in the driver's seat. Our Hot Frosty, aka Jack Snowman, is played by Justin Milligan, and most will know as Ted. You know, the dumb vet from Schitt's Creek. Here, Milligan doesn't steer too far off course as a stereotypical character from Schitt's Creek, except his teeth look like they have grown more than the Grinch's heart being 3 times the size. But even with being the stereotypical character, Milligan does have a likable innocence to him to fit the role. Milligan has this innocent energy that this movie requires. But any time the movie inserts a sexual innuendo, instead of the joyous Christmas feeling, it gives the feeling of walking in on your parents having sex. We cringe, we cover our eyes, we slowly back away, hoping nobody has witnessed what I have witnessed. Milligan's performance is consistent to the character, but everything happening around him seems to be on another planet. This is due to the writing that doesn't incorporate the innocence of a shirtless fit man that refuses to put a shirt on. Hot Frosty was written by Russell Hainline, whose first movie was a made-for-TV movie about stalking a social media influencer, to the Santa Summit from 2023 to 4 Christmas movies this year that all sound like movies straight off of Pornhub. We have 3 Wiser Men and a Boy, Christmas Under the Lights, Hot Frosty, and The Santa Class. Now, Hot Frosty is a premise and a title that one would think would be a ridiculous generic and even unwatchable, but actually, I'm gonna say it wasn't horrible. And I don't know if I would even classify it as bad or average, because it did something that many of the Christmas movies didn't do for me this year. Make me want to turn it off. Christmas movies get flooded onto streaming each year, and this is one that just at the mere premise would make me roll my eyes. But instead, the cast brings an energy that really did keep me engaged. But at the same time, it made me roll my eyes to the back of my head more times than I can count. With a title like Hot Frosty, this was better than it ever should have been. But maybe that's my expectations being extremely low. It has all the makings of a generic Christmas movie, but with less clothing, and yet it recognizes this and leans into that concept. When it knows it's cringy, it really goes all in on the cringiness. When it's cliche and situational, it leans all in on that element. We don't really realize this until we get to the final act, where it feels so unearned with its resolution, but something about Craig Robinson, who plays our Sheriff Nathaniel Hunter, standing out front a jailhouse, confronting a town that rallies together, that unites the Christmas spirit and brings all the ridiculousness together. Is it the recognizable faces that make us enjoy this movie? It doesn't matter whether or not our director Jerry Corti intended this to come across as just another generic Christmas comedy. In my opinion, this was an accidental cartoon PG 50 Shades of Grey, a G-rated Pornhub comedy satire poking fun at itself. And I can tell based on Chicorti's previous films, this was a complete accident. But you know what? That's okay, because sometimes directors' intent actually is in favor of entertainment, even though it's not intentional. This is an accidental fun. One time, one-time watch that won't be on my watch list going into next year. It does a decent enough job to give you some sort of feeling, whether that's a holiday feeling or another feeling that's going to be open for interpretation. Hot Frosty, for all of its flaws and cringiness, does do the job better than most streaming holiday films this year. It's outlandish, sexually cartoonish, and yet it still does have moments to make you smile in holiday feels that will make you want to take your shirt off, tie a scarf around your neck while decorating the tree. But after you're done decorating the tree, just like the movie after watching, you will think you won't do that again. And Hot Frosty will be lost in our memories by next year's Christmas. Compared to most streaming generic Christmas movies, it's a one-and-done okay holiday watch, only after a few strong bourbon eggnogs. But after watching this film sober, you may not get into the holiday feel you were hoping for. So those of you that watch Hot Frosty on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and throw a heating blanket over your lap, Santa's still watching. So I'm going to give Hot Frosty 2 different ratings after a couple of bourbons, 2.5 stars. And Hot Frosty being sober, 2 stars. Two resentful exes must awkwardly spend Christmas together after they learn that their new partners are siblings. But things just get weirder in the Netflix original Christmas film, Our Little Secret.
Imagine this. I'm spending the holidays with my boyfriend's family for the first time.
Hi, Mom.
This is for you.
Look, it's a skirt top. Fast and easy.
Here we go. He has a lot of family members, too many to remember. And his sister is also bringing someone.
I want you to meet Logan.
My ex.
Will you?
No, Logan, I will not marry you. It's so great to meet you.
Yeah.
You cannot tell anyone about us.
This is funny.
The last thing I need is to give that woman ammunition. Do we have an understanding?
You are a nightmare.
Gonna be fine.
So, Avery, where are you from?
Peachtree City.
No way, that's where Logan is from.
No way.
Such a small world.
You gotta work with me here.
I got this.
Are you guys ready for church?
Yes!
That was your fault.
That boyfriend of yours is a giant mama's boy.
Kiss Mommy.
Question. Can you sign Cassie's report cards? Or do they have to go home to her parents?
You're very funny. I don't want you to think that I just moved on.
I've changed a lot. I'm not yours to worry about anymore. Get out before someone sees you.
Hi. Busted.
I'm starving.
Are you eating random pocket candy? Those women that you ate were laced with THC.
You're kidding, right? Tell me that you're kidding.
Just standing there.
You should say something. A long, long time ago, in a faraway galaxy.
Okay, Christmas crew. This is Secret Santa, our family's longest tradition. So be here or be uninvited next year.
Now, Our Little Secret looks innocent on the surface level. It has the premise of another generic past lovers reuniting and recognizing what they've lost. But we can tell that our writer Haley Day Dominicus was falling asleep while writing this movie, because as the movie goes on, it just gets weirder. From Lindsay Lohan eating edibles and going to church. Just to clarify, it's not the edibles thing that's weird. It's Lindsay Lohan going to church. The movie covers drugs, infidelity, blackmail, bribery, a narcissistic mother, a veterinarian doing unethical things, to cheating within the family, and I won't spoil that with details. The movie has all of these topics, and it still attempts to promote holiday cheer, and even more so, attempts to still try and give us that holiday feeling at the end. Our writer Haley Day Dominicus, I can assume, really does just focus on the negatives of the Christmas season. That or her holiday is so boring. She wanted to write a Christmas movie that would appear edgy, but comes across as a nervous laugh to a bad joke. This was Haley Day Dominicus' first pen screenplay, and a comedy is already a hard one to do with no comedic experience. Day Dominicus merely wrote down the situation with no supporting comedic dialogue, and crossed her fingers that the cast would carry it home. And you can't do that with a Christmas movie, especially one that speaks to a level of generic premise. The cast, whoever it may be, the talent will read the script and assume it's just another generic Christmas streaming movie and another payday. The talent signing up for movies like this are not going to go all in. They know it's not going to be their next masterpiece or next big career move because there are certain talents that are going to take on movies like this. They know what's expected. They know what it's going to be. The ones that do it every single year, like Lindsay Lohan, that last year we had a couple Christmas movies from her. They are merely going to read the script at hand and add nothing of real value or substance to the character. And the writers, especially new writers, need to understand this. The jokes of Our Little Secret never land because the script has no follow-up to the jokes. It's merely situational and our leads have no clue how to handle comedy. Lindsay Lohan plays Avery, who early on in the film turns down a proposal from her at the time boyfriend Logan, played by Ian Harding. The two separate just later on and Avery meets Cameron, played by Jane Radusky, who brings Avery to his home for Christmas, where she meets a mother from hell, Erica, played by Kristen Chenoweth. At this point, this should be enough plot for a Christmas movie. Stressful holiday, nightmare overbearing mother, lots of supporting characters, including a side surprise I won't get into with Stan, played by Tim Meadows, and Judy Reyes. That puts the cherry on top of just bizarre and weird, asking the viewer, why? Why is this even in the movie? The movie is an orgy of situational pieces that drive this movie in all sorts of directions, and at times forgets what the main premise is. I suppose this movie could have been something with a proper comedic cast, ones that could properly improvise, because the written material might as well have been written on a cue card for the cast to read. When we have a movie with outlandish situational scenes, I can see the potential here. I can see how it could be funny. This film plays it too safe. I visually was thinking of what could have made these scenes funny. The benefit of watching a movie at home is that I could yell at the screen of what it could have done instead of being so damn lazy. This surprised me, but it didn't surprise me from a director that had some memorable movies, such as Critters, 101 Dalmatians, Mr. Holland's Opus, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and The Mighty Ducks. But what didn't surprise me is because the director, when it comes to comedies, all of his comedies rely on situations or a single gimmick, like Holy Man, Man of the House, even, dare I say, Bill and Ted to an extent. But the difference with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is that it had a cast that knew what they were doing. They got the material, they did their homework. But when it comes to Our Little Secret, this solely was a paycheck movie for all involved, with little to no effort. Stephen Herrick has made some memorable movies, but when it comes to comedies, he just has a couple under his belt that seemed to get worse as his career went on. Our Little Secret almost seems like it was intended as a dark Christmas comedy, but attempted to make it light and bright with the cast smiling for the camera, just for streaming. Either a writer had a different vision for this movie, or the movie was interpreted as something that it's not by the cast and the director. A complete misfire on both angles. The biggest problem we have from Our Little Secret is that not one single character is likable, and not one cast member tries to be likable. They simply smile for the camera when they do bad things, especially Lindsay Lohan's character. The movie tries to put Lohan's character in almost a meet the parents scenario, with everything going wrong, and one situation doing the domino effect to just get worse. But it's like watching a documentary on Lohan's life. It comes across damaged with the image that everything is fine, but in the end, this person needs help. Right off the bat, when we see Lohan's character Avery turn down this proposal, there's no care put into this scene. She is viewed as unlikable from the get-go. Our Little Secret is a Christmas film that literally misses on every single level, and in the most awkward way that will make you feel dirty by the time the credits roll. We have lives that are ruined, we have relationships that are destroyed, but it still attempts to give a single happy Christmas message. How in the fucking bloody hell do you attempt to give good Christmas feelings from horrible people is beyond me. Our Little Secret needs to be kept a secret from anyone involved. I'm giving Our Little Secret 1 star.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Now, before we get into the rest of the show, make sure you check out my reviews for movies that just became available to rent, buy, or stream now.
Now available on video cassette.
What We Do in Life Echoes an Eternity, and Gladiator 2, which felt like an eternity to get through, receiving 2 stars. On New Year's Eve 1999, the Y2K bug changed the world forever in Y2K, which felt like this movie was more of an inconvenience than what actually happened during Y2K. The greatest story ever told by the worst kids in the history of the world in the greatest Christmas pageant ever, which is the best Christmas present you will get this Christmas, receiving 3.5 stars. Question Everything with Heretics, which challenges the mind with questions and knows that can be scarier than the scariest monster, receiving 3 stars. Till Death Do They Part, witness the epic conclusion in Venom: The Last Dance, which made Magic Mike's Last Dance feel like an Italian opera, receiving 1.5 stars. One Man's Doubt Could Change Everything in Juror Number 2, which in this film's court of law was proven one of the best movies of the year, receiving 3.5 stars. You Better Not Shout, You Better Not Cry, and Prepare to Be Terrified Again in Terrifier 3, which nothing says Christmas cheer better than a chainsaw up the ass crack, receiving 3 stars. What Happens Behind These Walls Will Change Everything in Conclave, that really encouraged me to take some popcorn to church to watch the drama fly, receiving 3.5 stars. Joy, Hope, Lost Love, Life Happens, and then you realize you wasted 2 fucking hours watching a movie about time that just wasted your time in absolute utter nonsense in Here, which received 1 star. And finally, Humanity's Final Fight begins at 8,000 feet, which is a monster movie that elevates our urge to ask more questions than it finds time to answer them in Elevation, that received 2 stars. You can check out those reviews on my previous episodes, and while you do, don't forget to hit follow or subscribe, and please don't forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Now, before I get into the last set of reviews, there is a podcast that's become one of my weekly listening routines to give me a mental break from the stresses of work, and that is with J&K over the F My Worklife Podcast. Make sure you follow and subscribe. The link to that show will be in the description of this episode. But let's hear from J&K over the F My Worklife Podcast now.
Work sucks. Am I right, Jay?
Yeah, Kay, it does. But luckily, the F My Worklife Podcast is here to help you through.
In this comedy podcast, we share memorable workplace stories through guests and listener submissions in the hopes of brightening your day, or at least leave you thinking, maybe you don't have it so bad after all.
Listen to F My Worklife on your favorite podcast platform and follow us on all the socials at FMWL Pod.
Anora, a young sex worker from Brooklyn, meets and impulsively marries the son of an oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as his parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled in Anora. That is available to rent or buy now.
Yo. Did you pick up milk?
Do you see milk in the fridge?
No.
Then I didn't pick up the milk.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Annie. You don't have cash? Let's go to the ATM. Well, we could go chill out in a private room.
I got a kid who wants someone who speaks Russian.
My Russian is terrible. I can't even roll my R's.
No.
Я просто хотел тебе предложить. Ты хочешь быть эксклюзивно со мной?
15. Cash up front.
Deal.
Deal.
If I get married to an American, I wouldn't have to go back to Russia.
Okay, so who'd you marry?
And do you, Anora, take this handsome gentleman to New York? My wife!
Да я был с ним 2 недели назад буквально. Он не женат.
Well, you did tell them, right?
Иван-Джан, открой дверь, пожалуйста.
Vanya, should I call 911?
Ты женился на какой-то проститутке?
What?
Это она? Иван!
Like, what do you do to get all of this?
I am telling you, you do not know this guy.
Vanya?
It's a frog marriage, and we're getting in an old ASAP.
That's a nice guy. Vanya, be a man and talk to me.
What is that? Is that a butterfly?
Yeah, it's a butterfly.
You're so classy.
I know.
I got dollar signs like a real hoe.
Now, I wanted to review Anora weeks ago, but the showings were so limited. I couldn't fit it into my schedule, and now I thought I would throw this review in for those that want to close out the holiday in a more adult fashion. Picture this, as you go through the rhythms of your traditions of the holidays, whether that's multiple trips to different households during Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, whether it's just family traditions at home, or even if you're a single guy with a bottle of Jack Daniels after everything is said and done, and it's late in the evening on Christmas, there is nothing that says this day is finally over and appreciate it more than watching a hooker in a movie. Whether that's Pretty Women, Pornhub, or the new film Anora. Each one gives you a different piece of satisfaction. I won't go into the different layers of satisfaction, but you can probably figure it out or ask your local hooker. Anora is a movie in the tradition of 2019's Uncut Gems, where we have these unique main characters in unfortunate circumstances that require not just passable performances, good performances, but performances that require a flawless portrayal. Here we get that from Mikey Madison as Ani, an escort working in a nightclub, who one night meets Ivan, a rich customer that offers a proposition to Ani to date her for a week for a certain sum of money. Now, this might seem like the setup to a familiar story that we have seen before in movies past, such as Pretty Woman, but this is much different and makes Pretty Woman emotionally look like the Disney version when it comes to how we can feel our characters' stresses, emotions, ideas of love, and loss. Anora isn't a fairy tale, it isn't a happy story, and this is where its strength lies. This is where it excels. It brings the audience in on the idea of a happy life for a young escort, but that is shortly lived after the family of Ivan finds out. After Ani's and Ivan's week-long business agreement, the two decide to get married. The film portrays the raw innocence of young love and even the most unprecedented circumstances, and that so many can relate to in this day and age. Pleasure. Pleasure that can be misinterpreted as love, whether that's love, power, money, or just living the life or idea of comfort. Love can take many forms and many misinterpretations, especially in generations today. Ani and Ivan as individuals are enigmas to the audience as we watch their story go on and what their intent is. This whole movie and our characters are all up for interpretation here. There is no antagonist or protagonist. We are carefully watching these characters, connecting the dots for their true intent, finding out who is right, who is wrong, but in the end, it doesn't matter. It's the human nature of selfishness, want, and power and social class. There is so much going on when it comes to the characters and the movie and the story to get the point across that it is stressful, and just like Uncut Gems, there is no right answer to how to define this movie. This is a movie about feelings, this is a movie about social class and how it relates to one's feelings. And our writer-director Sean Baker doesn't allow us to truly understand these characters, but rather allow the chaos around them show us and give us clues on their true feelings, to even the final moments where the movie will boggle the mind of interpretations from economic class, human nature of wanting, or the want to be loved, or even accepted. This is a movie that teases and hints and wants us to believe in love that defies class, but beautifully unfolds the easy wants of life with tragedy, using class as a defined fate. There is a rawness to Anora's definition of what Sean Baker tries to present to us, and even though he presents a situation of two young lovers, the supporting characters direct us in clues to reality. Now, it's not our two main characters that's driving the point of this movie. The point of the movie is mainly driven by our maestro of Ivan's family, Toros, played by Karine Kargilin, whose main job is to keep Ivan at bay to not embarrass the family in any way. He is the main orchestrator or symbolic presence of an authoritarian or religious symbol obstacle to what's right or wrong. Again, a movie of interpretation, but Taurus can be taken as multiple directions as a symbolic figure. He could be protecting Ani, or is he protecting Ivan? Is he trying to guide like a guardian angel of Ani to show who Ivan really is? Or is his main intent to really protect the family and Ivan's social status? Or just try and cover up his sinful habits? This is an absolutely strategic, clever, brilliant script by Sean Baker. Beyond Taurus, this movie is full of brilliant, strategically placed supporting characters. We almost see a guardian angel character to tie in the guidance of social class by a thug of Ivan's family that subtly relates to Ani. And that's Igor, played by Yura Borstov, who inserts himself as a conscious, a social symbol of justice, guardian angel type for Ani, who subtly stays in the background, hovers through these prominent characters, but is always seen. And Baker makes Igor's presence just enough to make us wonder what the sole purpose of Igor is in the film, in which it does become clearer as the movie goes on, and will require a rewatch after the climax of watching Igor's actions. When we take Ani, her only connection or understanding of love is sexual, and that was the connection between her and Ivan. The only difference here that separates this from Ani's other relationships or other past is that she is offered a protected environment between the two of them, provided by Ivan. When this environment is disrupted, there's a level of control that she succumbs to that really shows her vulnerability, almost as we saw from Adam Sandler's performance in Uncut Gems, just without the sex. Ani knows one thing: sex. And when that's not in the equation, she is out of her element. And this is where Sean Baker is at his best when it comes to raw writing and direction. He knows how to keep the dialogue simple and the shots up close and allow the cast to react to these situations with the simplistic dialogue that displays emotions from love, anger, lust, and desperation. Anora is a subtly honest, powerful film that won't give you all the smiling feelings of Pretty Woman, and though at times it doesn't go far enough in rawness to truly discover these characters, that's not the intent of this movie. This is a prime example, a great example of how we look at characters or how we look at individuals of society as just through our eyes and our justification of who they are. Sean Baker is brilliant on not giving the audience spoon-fed material, but allowing us to even justify our own feelings towards these characters on screen, just like we would in real life. This is a true exploration of social, religion, sex, lust, and confusion of what love is versus compliance. Anora is one of those films that challenges us to think on a deeper level without being spoon-fed, and is a masterpiece on exploration of how we view, think, or present not just love, but love in social classes. I'm giving Anora...
We got one!
4 stars. Now, this year, I wanted to do something a little bit different when it comes to a Christmas episode, and I wanted to do something that I'd never actually done before on this show, which is make it a little bit more personalized on my traditions, what motivated me in storytelling, what motivated me in even podcasting now. And it actually did start in radio serials, radio shows, and the aspect of in how we tell a story in just listening. And in my December, my holiday tradition, I really do attack the senses when it comes to how I look at storytelling. I read 2 books every December, I listen to radio shows, and I watch movies, of course. So I thought I would share one of my favorite traditions I have every year since I was a kid. Now, again, every year I do have certain traditions that I do. One is during the month of December, I read Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol along with William Bennett's Jacob T. Marley. And another tradition I have is when I was in middle school, I came across an AM radio station that played a show called Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel. That starred 2 of the Marx Brothers, Groucho and Chico. You can see the book about this show on my bookshelf if you have tuned into the Cult-Worthy Cinema Podcast and the Movie Wires crossover show Back to the Balcony. You can find that book over my right shoulder at all times. This show I became obsessed with, recording every show I could on an audio cassette. Now, this show is now public domain, and I can share my Christmas tradition here on this show. Every Christmas during holiday prep, whether that's cooking, wrapping, whatever it may be, you can hear the Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel Christmas special playing in my house. And I'm going to share this episode to end the show. and encourage those that have never experienced Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel to pull them up online because it is truly a comedic treasure. Now, before I play, this is something that means a lot to me. This show really did have a big impact on not only motivating me again on storytelling, but even getting into podcasting now. This is one of those shows that really does stay with you, and I encourage everybody to check it out. And lastly, I just want to say Merry Christmas to all of you, and I hope you have a fun, safe, and happy holiday. Here is Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel in Miracle on Eatwell Street that aired on December 19th, 1932.
The British Broadcasting Corporation, in association with the Five Star Theatre, proudly present the Marx Brothers in Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel.
Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel, Miss Dimple speaking. And a Merry Christmas to you. No, Mr. Flywheel and his assistant are out at the moment. They're dressed up as Santas and gone out to collect money for charity. Uh-huh. Well, of course they're going to keep the money for themselves. I'll tell them. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Donation for the poor, sir. And the same to you.
Happy Easter. Happy Easter, everybody.
Ravelli, it's Christmas Day. What do you think you're doing?
Sure, I know that, but I figure that everyone, they're sick of Christmas by now. They look forward to Easter. Anyhow, it ain't my fault the stores were out of Santa suits, and I had to get the Easter bunny.
Maybe that's why we've hardly collected any money so far.
So, how much you got in your bucket?
Well, let's see. 1 dime, 2 French francs, and a collar button.
Then I do much better than you.
Really? What have you got?
2 collar buttons and a cufflink.
You know, maybe the real reason we're not collecting anything is passers-by take one look at you ringing a bell and expect you to shout, unclean.
Hey, boss, here comes somebody now. I try it your way. Unclean.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Any money for the poor?
Why, you two look so cold standing out here.
Well, you know us. Anything for charity.
Well, in that case, there's a quarter for the Easter Bunny. And my very last quarter in the world to you, sir. Oh, Merry Christmas, gents.
Why, that cheapskate. All that talk about charity, and we get a lousy 50 cents. Last cent in the world, huh?
Ah, he's right, boss. Look, I get his wallet, and there's nothing in it.
Why, what a kind old gentleman. Thank you. Merry Christmas. He's gone.
Oh, then I hand in his wallet at the police station. Maybe there's a reward.
Here comes another one. Now let me do the talking this time. Merry Christmas.
Don't give me that Merry Christmas baloney.
Nice work, boss.
I read about you guys in the paper, dressing up as Santa Claus and bilking the public.
Hey, boss, we made it the papers.
Quiet, Ravelli. Madam, you've got us all wrong. We're collecting for the poor and the elderly and the disadvantaged. Is it Ravelli's fault if he happens to be all three at the same time?
Neither one of yous is getting a nickel out of me. And if you're still here when I get back, I'm calling the cops on yous. Merry Christmas.
Boss, I think she mean it.
I always thought this charity business was a bad idea, and now I know for sure. Come on, Ravelli, we'll go back to the office. If nothing else, we've always got a warm desk to sleep under.
There. That ought to do it.
Hey, boss, look. It's McBride, the landlord. He just to put the padlock and chains onto the office.
Hey, McBride, what's the big idea?
Oh, why, Flywheel? I see you've been trying the old Santa Claus charity scam. Well, the Easter Bunny's a new angle, though. Don't suppose you raised $200 in back rent by any chance?
Would you accept 2 French francs and a collar button?
Oh, of course I wouldn't.
What about 2 collar buttons and a cufflink?
Forget it. You two bums haven't paid me a cent in months. And so now I'm locking you out of the office.
But McBride, it's Christmas Day. Have a heart.
Have a what? Oh, no, Flywheel. I've been far too lenient with you in the past. This time, you're out.
Hey, McBride, what about Miss Dimp? She's still in there.
No, she's not.
Oh, yes, she is.
No, she's not.
Oh, yes, she is.
You can tell it's Christmas, can't you, folks? Quiet, Ravelli. Let the villain say his piece.
Oh, no, she's not. I gave her the day off. She seemed quite taken with the idea.
What? But she's not due another day off until next leap year. I'd dock it from her pay if I gave her any.
Well, that's your problem. I can't hang around here all day. I've got several more buildings to padlock, and then I'm off for a big celebratory Christmas dinner. Say, you wouldn't happen to know where St. Mary's Orphanage is, would you?
Find it yourself, Ebenezer.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. Oh, and Merry Christmas.
Hey, McBride, you forgot to say bar humbug. This is an outrage, Ravelli. Locking us out of our own office on Christmas Day. Me, an American citizen, and you, not even an American. A fine Christmas this is. When I woke up this morning, I looked in my stocking. And what did I find? Your foot.
Hey, what's the matter? You gave me that stocking.
I gave you that stocking?
Sure, last night. I asked you, what do you give me for Christmas? And you say you give me a sock.
Just for that, Ravelli, you'll get no present from me.
You got a present for me, boss? Hey, that's fine. What is it?
I can't tell you, Ravelli. It's a secret.
I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigars.
One more crack like that and you'll get cigars. Scars all over your body. And remember, folks, routines like this can seriously damage your health.
Wash, what's that?
Unless my memory fails me, it's a child. Look, Ravelli, she can't be more than 7 years old. What's the matter, little lady? Are you locked out of your office, too?
No, my name's Hortense, and I'm lost.
Turn your face away, Ravelli. Can't you see you're frightening the child? What's wrong, Hortense? Are you sick?
They got money for singing? That's fine. Say, I know 2 carols.
There might be something in this. Let's hear you sing one.
California, here I
come. Ravelli, that was awful. Maybe it'd be better without the Easter Bunny costume.
No, I don't think so. I just sing the other one. California, here I come.
But that's the same song.
Yeah, but this is Lower California. California.
You're in a poor state, Ravelli. Hortense is only crying, and she sounds better than you.
I want to eat.
You want to eat? How much money have you got on you?
I haven't got any money.
No money? Ravelli, see if she has any gold teeth.
All right. She bit my finger.
Well, if she bit you, she really must be hungry. Ravelli, it's Christmas Day, and there's only one thing to do. We're going to have to treat this little girl to Christmas dinner in the best restaurant in town and hang the expense.
Wash, if we go to the best restaurant in town and don't have the expense, I think they hang us.
You heard me, Ravelli, the best restaurant in town. After all, the better the restaurant, the older the waiters.
How's that going to help us?
Simple. The older the waiters, the softer the fall when we get thrown out.
Cordwell's Restaurant. This the place, boss?
This is it. Keep up, Hortense. There's a good girl.
I'm hungry. I want to eat.
Well, we're here now. But remember, this is a swanky joint. We must be sophisticated and dignified. Ravelli.
Yes, boss?
Take the Easter Bunny suit off.
Yes, boss. There we go.
Okay, let's go in.
Hey, bud, if you're gonna eat in here, you gotta check your coat.
And a Merry Christmas to you, too.
Yeah.
Say, didn't we run into your sister on 5th Avenue this morning?
I ain't got a sister. Now, if you want to eat, then you gotta leave your coat here.
Well, here you go. I give you a dime, but I never tip more than the coat is worth.
And here's mine. Don't forget to toss it to me when I get thrown out.
Come, Hortense.
Good evening, sir.
This is a swanky joint. It'll be an honor to be thrown out of here.
Table for 3, sir.
Yes, Captain, and make it near the door. Better yet, just put a table out on the street. It'll save time later. Besides, we like to eat out.
Eat out, sir?
Sure we eat out. We eat out of anything.
Well, how about right by the window, sir? You have a view of the street.
Don't worry, we'll see the street soon enough.
All right, we take the table, Cap, but you gotta take away the tablecloth.
The tablecloth, sir?
Sure, we don't want to pay cover charge. That's some joke, eh, Cap? Hey, Cap?
I'll just get you a menu, sir.
Oh, one moment, Captain. Do you serve children?
Yes, of course, sir.
Well, put this one over a slow flame and let me know when she's done.
As I said, sir, I'll bring the menu.
Forget the menu. Just bring the food.
And then you can forget another menu and bring some more food.
You ain't got no money. You ain't got no money.
Isn't she adorable? She always keeps saying, we haven't any money.
She is rather sweet. I sometimes wish I had a little girl just like her.
Well, Humbert, knock $50 off the bill and she's yours.
Sir?
All right, make it a quarter, but you'll have to take Ravelli, too.
Gosh, keep quiet about the bill. You spoil my appetite. Okay, Cap, bring on the food.
Right away, sir.
Okay. Boss, I'm some hungry now.
Ravelli, what are you unbuttoning your shirt for?
I just remember that the doctor, he told me when I eat, I should watch my stomach.
You ain't got no money. You ain't got no money.
Hey, what do you shout about? You no get a dinner.
Oh, yes, I will. My daddy owns this joint. Here he comes now. And you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money.
Hortense, where have you been? I've had the police out looking for you everywhere.
Daddy.
I thought I told you never to come here.
But I wanted to see where you were.
Yeah, Captain!
Yes, Mr. Cordwell.
Call the police and tell them I found my daughter.
This is your daughter?
Yes, and she's perfectly safe and sound, thanks to these two gentlemen. Now off you go and make that call, if you would, Captain.
Yes, sir.
So, tell me, gentlemen, how did you know to bring my daughter here?
They didn't. They were gonna... Oh!
Ah, little Hortense, she fall off of the chair.
No, I didn't. You push loose.
Oops-a-daisy.
Come on, Hortense. You're a little too small to be sitting on such a grown-up chair.
And now, Mr. Caldwell, about the reward.
Well, who said anything about a reward?
My boss, Flywheel, he just said it.
Oh, but gentlemen, I'm afraid I can never repay you.
Then we're gonna have to take Hortense back.
That's an idea. The worst idea I've ever heard.
Wait a minute, though, gentlemen. I am in a bit of a fix, come to think of it. I have to take Hortense up to her mother's for Christmas dinner this afternoon, and between you and me, I don't like the idea of leaving the captain in charge. He can be a bit high-handed at times. If you gents would keep an eye on the place for me till I get back this evening, I'll treat you to the finest Christmas dinner in New York.
Why, that'll be no trouble at all. We're old hands at the restaurant business.
Boss, don't you mean kitchen hands in the restaurant business?
Then that's settled, then. I'll tell the captain. And I'll see you two gentlemen this evening. Come on, Hortense.
Goodbye, Hortense.
Hooey.
Oh, Captain.
Yes, sir.
So, deadbeats, eh?
A slight misunderstanding, sir.
Well, congratulations, Captain. You've just been promoted to chief.
Chief, sir?
Yeah, chief dishwasher. Now get in that kitchen and clean.
Well.
And send the cocktail pianist the greetings of the season.
Yes, sir.
And then tell him he's fired. Come on, Ravelli. Hortense was our good deed for the day. Now we've only got the afternoon to run this place into the ground.
Oh, don't worry, boss. That's plenty of time.
First, we got to get rid of some of these customers. They're reading too much, and I want there to be plenty left for us tonight. Now get to that piano, Ravelli. It's time for the floor show. And time for the customers to meet their new managers. Now, friends, Christmas Day comes but once a year. But then so do the other 351 days, so what the fuss is, I don't know. But where would Christmas be without its traditions? Sleigh bells in the snow, the holly, the ivy, the fun of kissing under the mistletoe, and the added fun if holly and ivy are there, too. Listening to the carol singers in the street below, just as the water hits them. All this and more goes to make up the misery that is Christmas. And another thing. Now, Now for Christmas, there's some people we'd be better off without. I've got a little list, my special Christmas list. There's the ninny who describes to you his hemorrhoids and gout. I know he'd not be missed, he never would be missed. There's the pestilential plumber who forgets to bring his tools. Or those little men who stop you and say, I don't make the rules. I hate the moviegoer eating popcorn next to me. And furthermore, it puts me off my chicken fricassee. There's the nut who's more neurotic since his new psychiatrist. I don't think he'd be missed. I'm sure he'd not be missed.
He's got him on the list. He's got him on the list. And they'll none of them be missed. They'll none of them be missed.
There's the irritating singer changing lyrics when he likes. And he's no lyricist. He's on my Christmas list. And the man who plays the bagpipes till your head is full of spikes. He never would be missed. He never would be missed. There's your date who speaks so softly in a crowded restaurant that you think you're even deafer than your granny in Vermont. The waiter who brings everything except the thing you want. And those dames who say, well, really, just like Marguerite Dumont. That couple on your doorstep with a Bible in each fist. I don't think they'd be missed. I'm sure they'd not be missed.
He's got him on the list. He's got him on the list. And they'll none of them be missed. They'll none of them be missed.
There's the matron on a bicycle, determined to be young. Oh, is she an optimist? She's on my Christmas list. There's the dentist telling corny jokes while holding down your tongue. He never would be missed. He never would be missed. There's the dowager who loves to talk and talk and talk and talk. And her dog who leaves a calling card exactly where you walk. Those little brats who cry and wake you up at 5 a.m. There's Gilbert and there's Sullivan. I mustn't leave out them. They're suing me for screwing up. I've got a little list. Those limeys won't be missed. They none of them be missed.
He's got a little list. He's got a little list. And they none of them be missed.
So a very Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Hey, boss, there's still plenty of people out there in the restaurant.
I know, and it doesn't look like they're going to go away until they've been fed. Here, Ravelli, take this plate of roast beef to table 28.
Why table 28? I can eat it right here in the kitchen.
Ravelli will never get rid of anybody if you're going to spend half your time loafing around.
Well, half a loaf is better than none.
Loaf around here and there'll be no more head waiter for you.
Well, you know what they say. It's better to have loafed and lost than never to have loafed at all.
There isn't enough dough to pay me to make a joke like that. Ravelli, you're just wasting your breath. Why don't you stop breathing? Now, that roast beef is... If I'd known you were going to be there with me, I'd have waited. Now, get out into the dining area and deliver this beef.
All right. I'm a go.
Waiter! Waiter!
Yeah, lady, what do you want?
Look at this steak. It's burnt.
That's nothing. Just rub it with some ointment.
Don't be ridiculous. I want something else.
Well, if you move it to table 28, you can have this roast beef.
I don't want roast beef.
Okay, how about some nice lamb chops?
Very well, I'll have the lamb chops.
Sorry, lamb's off.
But you just said...
Well, sure. Then I remember I want them myself.
Such insolence. Now, do you have a goose dinner, if that's not too much trouble?
Goose dinner. Okay, I get you some stale bread.
Stale bread?
Sure. That's what the geese eat, and they love it. So, you wanted the $10 or the $15 goose dinner?
$15 for a goose dinner? Why, I can get the same across the street for just $3.
Then why you no go across the street?
I did, but they didn't have any goose.
Say, if we didn't have no goose, we sell it for $3 too. Anyhow, you can't compare this beautiful place with that dump across the street. Look at these fine paintings. Don't you think you have to pay for stuff like that?
I don't care about your paintings.
All right. I give you the dinner for $3. But you have to eat it with your eyes closed.
Well, hurry up. I've had just about enough.
You had enough? All right, I get you the check.
Oh, manager! Manager! I demand to see the manager.
Hey, quit yapping. You'll wake the rest of the staff up.
I've been grossly insulted by this waiter. The man is an idiot.
Well, of course he is. That's the dumb waiter.
That's it. I'm leaving. I shall go elsewhere for my Christmas dinner. Good day.
Hey, Miss Gulch, you forgot your broom. Congratulations, Ravelli. That's one customer down. Only 20 more to go.
Thanks, boss.
Waiter,
later.
All right, I'm a come.
You!
Hey, boss, is it the landlord?
Oh, what are you doing here? This is a high-class establishment.
That's no fair. That's just what I was going to say.
But this can't be right.
Relax, McBride. We're just running the place for an old friend.
But I booked months ago to have my Christmas dinner here. The best table in the house.
Ah, yes, that'll be right by the kitchen. Oh, and don't worry about the swing door opening onto the back of your head. You'll get used to it after the first 30 or 40 times. Your table, sir.
Well, all right. But I pre-ordered the full Cordwell Christmas menu, and I intend to eat it all. Evicting starving children from the orphanage is hungry work.
So, the full Cordwell Christmas menu. A wise choice, sir. A succulent selection of the finest fish and meat courses available anywhere in the city. Served with only the best French champagnes and wines.
That's the one.
Well, that's what we're having. Ravelli, bring this man a cheeseburger and a root beer.
What?
Okay, boss, I go in the kitchen and I get him one.
No! Mind my head! Ow!
Here it is, boss.
That was quick.
Well, I don't bother to cook it. It saves time.
Now, look. I didn't come in here to have a cheeseburger and a root beer.
Hey, maybe you like my specialty instead. I call it the tomato yum-yum.
Why, I never heard of it.
First, you take a little bit of spinach. Then you mix it up with a whole bunch of spinach. Then you put in, let me see. That's it, a half a pound of fresh spinach. Then you cook for a couple of hours. Then you got a one fine tomato yum-yum.
But that's nothing but spinach. Why do you call it a tomato yum-yum?
Well, I know like a spinach.
This hamburger's looking better all the time.
Then get a move on and eat up. We're closing in a couple of minutes.
What? Well, the afternoon sitting doesn't close until 6. It's only 5 now.
Well, we forgot to close for lunch. We're an hour behind. Ravelli, get the man his bill.
Okay, boss. I think it's in the kitchen.
Go! Go!
Here you go, landlord.
What? $150 for what I just had?
He's right, Ravelli. That's an outrage. You've forgotten the service charge. That makes it $200 even.
$200 for an uncooked cheeseburger?
No, $200 for the Cordwell Christmas menu.
Yeah, but you're having that.
Yeah, but somebody's got to pay for it.
Oh, you're not getting $200 out of me for cheeseburger and a root beer.
What? I'll have you know that is no ordinary cheeseburger. That is Cordwell's finest cheeseburger. Every individual ingredient is hand-picked.
That's right. I hand-picked that one off of the floor.
Each beef is raised in precisely the right conditions to provide the tenderest of meat. Why, every single member of Cordwell's private herd has its own apartment on Fifth Avenue. And that's not to mention the bun. Each day, hundreds of sesame seed buns from the finest bakeries in Paris are flown in, and only the very best are chosen for Cordwell's cheeseburgers.
Yeah, but the bun is worse than the burger. It's completely stale.
Well, what do you expect? It came all the way from Paris. The cheese flew here, too. It's Limburger cheese.
Boss, I think we let him off the cheese. We run out, so I use a strip of lino from the kitchen floor.
Oh, you're not getting away with this. I'm not paying you the $200, and I'm not going away hungry. Now get me something else from the kitchen.
Okay, I go back in the kitchen.
Yeah, no, don't get me anything. No! Ooh. No!
Look, boss, I got her something else from the kitchen. It's a little mouse. I saw it earlier, and now I'm a catch it.
Well, what do you expect to find in the kitchen? An elephant?
I don't know. I don't look for an elephant.
This has gone far enough. That mouse is unhygienic.
No, he's not. He's a nice little fella. Oops. Hey, boss, he wriggled out of my hands. Where'd he go?
The customers, they're leaving. Ravelli, you're a genius.
I'm not leaving, and I'm not letting anyone else in either.
Well, fine by us. But aren't you making the place just a little too exclusive?
Nope. My name's Flaherty, Public Health Department. I thought by coming here, I could have a decent meal in nice, clean surroundings.
It's not your fault. You weren't to know Ravelli was here.
I'm not talking about him, but I'm still closing this place down.
Good. I think I might press charges, too.
Oh, now, let me see. You'd be Mr. McBride, the slum landlord. Well, I'll be paying you a visit soon, too.
Oh, well, I must be getting along? I've made a terrible mistake. I have to go and unchain an orphanage. I meant to do the old people's home next door, I believe. Goodbye.
Nice work, Flatty. Well, now that rodent's out of the way, we can open up again.
Nah, not so fast. I still have to speak to the owner of the place.
Come on, Hortense. What? Oh, where is everybody? What's happening?
I'm closing you down on order of the Public Health Department.
Don't you panic, Cord. It's just the one little mouse.
A mouse? In my restaurant? I'm ruined. Where did it go?
I don't see it. Ran away.
That's my pet mouse, Snowy. I'm going to cry and cry for the rest of the day now.
You let that mouse loose in my restaurant? Well, it's probably gone now.
We can't afford to be taking any risks. We've still got to lay down traps and poison.
Snowy, but that's murder.
Not yet, but it will be. Come here, you two.
Gosh, look out. He's got a carving knife.
Don't be ridiculous, Ravelli. That's definitely a meat cleaver. And I've actually been first out the door.
Not if I get there first.
Run, Ravelli. Wait a minute, Corbo. I forgot something.
What?
Would you like us to dress for dinner tonight? Well, some Christmas this is turning out to be, Ravelli. Locked out of our office, and the only goose we got was our own, nearly being cooked.
Yeah, next year I forget Christmas and have 2 Thanksgivings instead.
Why, Merry Christmas again, gents.
Boss, look, it's that old gent who gave his last 2 quarters.
Yeah, well, maybe he's got 2 more last quarters for us. Quick, get the Easter Bunny suit on again.
Say, you didn't see an old brown leather wallet around, did you? I've been looking for it all day.
Sure, I got it right here. I found... All right, I stole it this morning. And here, I put the quarters back. Now you got us some money, too.
Ravelli, what are you doing? I never knew you were a Boy Scout.
Sure, when I was a kid, that's what I want to be when I grew up.
Oh, gentlemen, what a magnificent gesture. You've quite restored my faith in human nature. You must allow me to repay you.
Hey, you ain't got enough. Boss, look, there's hundreds of dollars in that wallet. They just appear like a magic.
Well, I always try to have some to hand for these special occasions. Now, let me see. You need, $200 for the rent. Oh, and here's another $100 for some dinner and a place to stay tonight.
Boss, look, he giving me $300.
Maybe this is Christmas Day after all. What's your name, stranger?
Oh, folks around here have been calling me Kris Kringle. Well, goodbye. Merry Christmas.
Goodbye.
Bye. Merry
Christmas. Hey, he's a nice old gent, huh, boss?
Yes, and I have a feeling I know the name. Wait a minute. Why, he looks just like Edmund Gwen. And isn't this 34th Street? Kris Kringle, but that's him, Ravelli. Santa Claus. That was the Santa Claus.
Oh, no, you can't fool me. There ain't no Santa.
Don't even think about it, Ravelli.
Listening to Flywheel, Shyster and Flywheel, starring Michael Roberts as Groucho Marx as Waldorf D. Flywheel, and Frank Lazarus as Chico Marx as Emmanuel Ravelli. Also starring Lorelei King, Graham Hoadley, and Vincent Barzello. The lyrics were by Dick Fosbury and Frank Lazarus, and the music was arranged by David Berman and conducted by Paul McGuire. The script was written by Nat Perrin and Arthur Sheikman, and was adapted with original material by Mark Brissenden. The producer was Kirk Maggs.
And that's a cut on this week's edition of the Movie Wire. I want to thank you for listening and thank you for your support. You can also show support for the show by following me on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, Thread, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Letterboxd at Movie Wire Show. And please don't forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you haven't yet checked out the Cult-Worthy Cinema Podcast and the Movie Wire's new show, Back to the Balcony, make sure you do. The link to that show will be in the description of this episode. Until next week, do do me a favor. Make sure you stay for after the credits to show the respect to those that put their blood, sweat, and tears into making a feature film and support your local movie theaters.
Thank you for bringing me to the movies.
Let the credits roll. We say farewell. Join us next time. We'll have more tales to tell.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. When I wake up, I'm getting a CAT scan.